that there was even, a right or a wrong way to eat. I just ate, and that was it. And so when we started really digging into it, of course, I went to the internet, typed in what we should do to get healthy, and here come all these ideas about juicing like a million times a day, and going vegan right out of the gate. It was like, and so I was like, I kind of freaked out. And so anyway, so we kind of had to back off a little bit and start just implementing things slowly into our family. And so we did that, but we were still experiencing some health issues. My daughter was severely constipated, and she was about 4 years old at the time, but she had been experiencing that since she was a baby. And so for us, we were dealing with this every single day, her being in pain. And it was awful. It was awful. And so, and I was having heart palpitations. I was 31 years old at the time, having heart palpitations. And I just knew something was wrong. Something was wrong, and our family needed to start making some changes. And so I was on the phone with my dear friend Bree, just kind of sharing all of this with her. And I'm telling her about Charlotte. I'm telling her about our family's health issues. And then in the same conversation, I told her that we were really struggling financially. My husband, like Chris said, is in the Army, and we were a pretty young military family at the time, and he was enlisted still, and I was staying home with the kids and homeschooling, and I just really felt led to do that. And so I didn't want to get a job outside of the house. So I was just really, I was struggling with our health, with our finances. I was a mess. And so I'm telling this to Bree on the phone. She shares with me about Juice Plus for our health and our finances. And immediately I say to her, no. Like, no, not only no, but like, heck no. I'm not one of those kind of people that stay at home and sell things, is what I told her. And she said, okay, and that was it. We have known each other since 5th grade, so she didn't take offense, thankfully. So, but over the next couple of days, I just really felt super convicted that here I was. I had been literally praying for an answer for our health and for our finances, and she had just offered me something that could potentially help both of those things, and I turned her down. So I called her back, and anyway, got started, and my goal in the very beginning was to earn an extra $500 a month, because that's what we were borrowing from my dad every single month, just to help with put groceries on the table at the end of the month. And so we did that very quickly, and then pretty soon it multiplied. It just kept multiplying, and I just kept sharing. Oh, I didn't tell you the good part is after a week of Charlotte being on the gummies, she was 4 years old, all of her constipation issues went away. And this was something we had been dealing with every single day since she was an infant. And so to have that gone, I was like, oh, like the heavens opened. It was amazing, and I needed to tell everybody about this. So I did. I started telling every single person I knew about this, and my team started growing, my customer base started growing, and here I am. And I made it to National Marketing Director in 4.5 years. Just made 50 Club a couple of months ago. And it's just so fun. It's so fun to be on this journey. And I can tell you that along this journey, I have picked up a lot of lessons along the way that I didn't know before. I was not the same person that I am today as I was 6.5 years ago. Almost 7 years in March, it'll be 7 years. Thankfully, I'm not the same person, but I have learned a lot along the way, and I want to share that with you tonight. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me just a minute. And this has become so much fun for me. Can you guys all see this? Chris, can you see this?
Yes, Peggy, we can.
Okay, good. All the pictures went away, so I can't see anybody's faces anymore. But it's big on the screen. So I'm just going to click through this here. Let me go back. So this is the art of conversation is what I have called this, because you know, so many times we can be in a conversation with somebody, or you know, somebody asks us something. Actually, I don't like it so big because I can't see your faces. So I'm gonna make it minimize and just make it bigger. I feel like I'm talking to my blank screen if I can't see your faces. So can you guys see that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Because I want to see your guys' faces. Okay. All right. So this one has become super important to me. It's to start with your why. So when you're talking to somebody, instead of just spilling your guts about Juice Plus, right, which is what we all want to do, we start with why we do Juice Plus. So we're going to walk through that just a little bit and what that kind of looks like. So, imagine yourself sitting on an airplane, okay, and somebody's sitting next to you, and the conversation gets started, and pretty soon the person ends up asking you, so what do you do, right? That always happens. Everybody asks that question, and sometimes I used to, and in fact, I can't say that I don't still do this, but I used to get super nervous and be like, oh, what do I say? Oh, I sell Juice Plus. That's not what anybody wants to hear. So we've kind of learned to tweak that a little bit. So when somebody asks you the question, what do you do? This is what we're going to talk about. So during the presentation, I showed this video. I'm not going to show it tonight. You guys can go look it up on YouTube. It's Simon Sinek, Start With Why. I've tried to show videos before through Zoom, and with the time lapse or whatever, it doesn't work out well. So you guys can all go look. It's YouTube, and it's Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, and the video is Start With Why. And he really talks about the importance of, and you'll hear this when you listen to it, the importance of the why behind what you do, and not versus the what behind what you do. So the what is Juice Plus, right? But if we lead with that, people might shut their ears off right away, and we don't want that. We want to leave the doors wide open. And so if we learn to start with the what, then people will be open to hearing that, because it's going to leave them curious. So here's what that might look like. So this may have been something I would have said a long time ago. If somebody asked me on an airplane, what do I do? And this is honestly, no joke, what I used to say to people, because I would get so flustered in answering this question that I didn't know what to say. So I would say, oh, I stay at home and I sell Juice Plus. Have you ever heard of it? Don't say that. Because first of all, you're saying you sell something, you're telling them right away what it is. So if they have ever heard of it and they have a negative idea about it, it's going to shut the door right away. If they've never heard of it, but they still know you're selling something, maybe they're going to be closed off and not leave the conversation super open. And we want the conversation open. So take your why and put it into a response. So if somebody says, what do you do? Instead of answering with the what, answer with the why. So you could say something like this. Yours is going to sound different than mine. I just threw this up here. I'm passionate about inspiring people to take charge of their health. Now that's going to leave the door open, because that could mean a number of things. It could mean that you're a personal trainer. It could mean that you're a health coach. It could mean you're a nutritionist or a dietitian. People don't know. So they're going to dig a little bit further, and that leaves the door open for a further conversation. Okay. So what is your why? So think about what your why is, write that down, and then figure out how you can put it into a response when you're answering somebody. Okay. So that's your little homework piece for today. So the next one is number 2, say less to more people. So you're having conversations, instead of spitting out everything, to one person, you want to say much less to a lot more people. And this is why. I'm going to read you this quote that I found from a blog, an entrepreneur blog. This does not mean giving people less information about a product, but rather streamlining the information that's provided. So many people use up far more words than are necessary to describe a concept. People will lose interest in you if you continue to say the same things, but just in a slightly different way. Figure out how best you can communicate something simply and then do it. This will allow you to spread your message farther to more people. This means that while you're actually saying less to everyone, you end up reaching far more. So imagine, being in front of a group of people. Use this in the context of a wellness presentation, or, a salad in a jar, whatever you want to call it these days. And you're in front of a room of people. Nobody wants to sit and just listen listen to what you have to say, because they might, get bored and not really hear what you're talking about. But you find a way to streamline what you have to say and then ask questions. I mean, that really is the best way to get to know who you're dealing with, your audience of people. It allows the conversation to go a lot further because everybody's story is going to bring up a different response. Okay, so I wrote down some real live conversations that I have had with people through a text message. So I don't know if you guys have ever done text blitzing or Facebook message blitzing before, but it's really fun and it's a really great way to say less to more people. Because you're streamlining what you have to say. And if you do a text blitz, it's kind of like a race against the clock to text as many people as you can in a short amount of time, or Facebook message, or however you're going to get a hold of them, to see what happens. So here's what I said. Hey, Sarah, I was just thinking about you and our conversation we had about your health issue. I just can't imagine having to deal with that, and you have really been on my heart. Our family learned about something a few years ago that has been such a blessing for our health. Would you be open to learning more about it? So I didn't start with the what. I just started with kind of connecting with her on a personal level and just kind of seeing where it went. And she said, sure, I'm open to anything that might help. And then I respond back to her, that's so great to hear. If I send you a link to a quick video, do you think you would have a few minutes to watch it? So instead of right here, I could have been like, it's Juice Plus and it's fruits and vegetables in a capsule and it's going to get your family healthy. It's got my family healthy. Instead of doing that, it's just a quick 1 or 2 line response to ask if they'll watch a video. And then she said, yes, send it over. I have time on my lunch break to watch it. So that gave me a time frame, so I knew when to catch back up with her. So then I said, perfect. Here's the link. I'll text you this afternoon to see what you loved about it. Can't wait to chat. So keep it simple. Saying less to more people. And I probably sent this text out to several people, but just personalize it in a different way for each person. Okay, here's another one I had, and she's actually working on sales coordinator on my team now, which is super exciting, and I didn't know that when I first messaged her. I said, hey, Leah, I was just thinking about who I would love to see join this mission with me to inspire healthy living, and you came to mind. Would you be open to hearing more about sharing Juice Plus with others and earning extra income? Because I knew something personal about her, that her family needed the income. So I just kind of shot that one in there in the last sentence. And she actually responded quite a long post, but what I put a condensed version in here. She said, thanks for thinking of me. Actually, I'm quite inspired by your post. I would like to learn more. And I didn't know, you guys, she had never ever clicked like on any post that I had ever made on Facebook before. So I didn't know that she was actually watching what I was doing. So if you are posting on Facebook and you think that you are just posting to this audience that is not listening, don't be fooled. People are watching. Sometimes they're afraid to click like or respond because they don't know if you're going to like pounce on them. So just keep posting, you guys. Be faithful to share your mission through social media because people are watching. So what I said back to her was, great. Let's set up a time to talk on the phone, maybe Thursday. Let me know what time works best. I'd love to share my story with you. And we actually had a super amazing conversation. She was actually a friend of mine that I cheered with in high school, and I had not talked to her since high school. That's been 20 years now. And so, but we were just following each other on Facebook, and she happened to see my posts. I messaged her, and that was it. She's now a rock star on my team. So that's where that one can lead. Okay, number 3 is to listen and be curious. So this takes some work. It takes some work to be in a conversation and actually listen to the other person. Instead of, when somebody is saying something, it's so easy to like collect all these things in your mind that you want to say back to them in response. But instead, just try to refrain from that and keep your mind wide open and just listen to their story. So listen with the sole purpose of getting to know and understand the other person. How often these days do people actually listen to other people when they're talking and make them feel like they're actually being heard? That's what people want. That's why people are talking and saying things in the first place, is because they want somebody to hear them and somebody to listen and understand. You don't need to be interesting, just interested. So don't worry about what you're going to say or the next, are you going to sound good? Are you going to, what if I don't know how to respond? What if I don't know what to say? Don't worry about all of that. You just be interested in what they have to say. That's it. That's your only job when you're in a conversation and you're listening to somebody else. Brandy Foss, you guys probably know who she is. She's an amazing 100 Club National Marketing Director. And when she talks, I listen. And so she was talking to our team and said, when I quit making it all about me and I make it instead about everyone else, it enables me to turn disappointment into opportunity. So I just love that. And I thought it fit perfectly here. So the formula is when you're in a conversation, you ask questions and then you wait and you listen for their response. And then in responding to what they have to say, ask another question. And then you just keep repeating and asking more questions until you get down to the heart of the conversation and what they really are trying to say. So this could be applied to, so that, the ask, listen, repeat could be applied to somebody that is interested in the business, in the product, a new rep, a new customer. And what I mean by a new rep or a new customer is, sometimes we get new team members and we're so excited, or we get new customers and we're so excited. We just get them signed up as fast as we can, and then we hang up the phone and we're like, I got a new team member. But then we forget to ask the questions. And that is the most important part in the very beginning. When you're getting a new team member, when you're getting a new customer, is to ask the questions. So say, for instance, you have a new team member. They're wanting to get going on your team. You're on the phone with them. You're taking their information. Make sure to ask them some really great questions about where they see themselves. Why are they signing up for this business? Keep asking questions about that so you can then lead them in the right direction. I listened to a really great, back when we had something called VoiceCom. I don't know who remembers that, but we used to have a voice messaging system, like where you pick up the actual phone and listen to voice messages instead of Voxer. And there was a really great training by Dr. Carol Watson, and she was talking about the idea of leading versus pushing. And leading is when you ask those really great questions and you know what somebody's expecting, you know where they want to go, then we can lead them in the right direction. But when we don't ask those questions, we're assuming everybody wants to get to National Marketing Director. Everybody wants to work their business at the same speed, and we're assuming wrong. And so when we start like asking them to get on phone calls or having events and they don't do it, then it can become frustrating, like we're pushing them instead of leading them. So make sure to ask those super great questions in the beginning. Same with customers. We need to know what our customers are expecting. What health issues do they have that they're hoping to see resolved by eating more fruits and vegetables or making some lifestyle changes? So everybody gets the point. I think ask a lot of questions. So Nikki Cotton did a training. She's also another 100 Club NMD. She did a training for our team, and she talked a little bit about having conversations too. And she said that when we are telling, we are selling. So when you're not telling, but you're asking questions, then you're not selling. Curiosity is king. So make sure that you're super interested in the other person and genuinely interested in the other person. Not just coming up with these questions just to come up with questions, but really be curious about that person. They want to feel heard. Our job is to find out their story. How easy is that? That's really easy. Who also loves this? Okay, sitting in the airport, watching people. And sometimes I make up stories about these people and their families and what they're doing and where they're going. What if we could ask them? I would be curious to know their story and who they are. So that's our job, is to find out the other person's story. Have fun with it. When we communicate, we are there in a dance with the other person. How fun is that? You can't just have one person that's like throwing the other person around on the dance floor. That's not very good. But when you ask and then they answer, you listen and then you ask again and then they answer and you listen. I mean, it's kind of a back and forth, like a dance. Stop making up stories. So, this is a perfect example, like when I'm in the airport. Stop making up stories and find out the truth. If you think somebody looks interesting and you want to talk to them, ask them questions. This is one thing that she brought up. So how many times have we said, or do you have a team member that has ever said, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who I could share Juice Plus with. I don't know anybody who I could ask to join my team. Well, who do you think you need to know? Because we all know a lot of people. So we all go to the grocery store. We all go to the post office. We all probably get our hair done, maybe our nails done sometimes. We're walking the dog and we see people on the street. Who else do you think you need to know? Like this whole, concert of people in order to talk about Juice Plus? No. And in fact, I have found the best team members and customers from one-on-one conversations. So really get to know the other person. Okay, just a couple more slides here. If you go to missiondrivenmodel.info, there is a really great tool that will help you ask those good questions to your new team members. So we want to find out why they're doing the Juice Plus business. Why did they want to join you? So this is in the organizational workbook, and it's very great. I don't know what page it is in the organizational workbook, but you can flip through and find it. And it kind of goes through the whole thing about asking questions and then asking another question from that. So here's an example. What's important to you about building a successful Juice Plus business? And the one-word answer we get is, I want to make more money. So we could stop right there and the conversation would be over, and that's not very interesting. But we can say, why is it important for you to make more money? Well, all of a sudden they need to get out of debt. Well, why is it important for you to get out of debt? So I can stop working so hard to pay someone else. Okay, you see the progression of that. And then at the very end of it, it's like all of a sudden, it's important for them to take care of her mom who is widowed that needs help. I mean, who knew that all that was going to come from asking a simple question about making more money? So just keep digging, digging, digging until you find that person's why. Because then if they're finding, they're in a tough spot later on down the road, you can always bring them back to why they got started in the first place, because then that will keep them on track and motivated. Another one that you can use to ask your customers really great questions is this customer profile. You can also find this on the Mission Driven Model, and you can print that out, or you can take a screenshot of it, whatever you want to do, and ask the people these questions. But it's great to know why they're even ordering Juice Plus for their family or for themselves, and what's their health goals. Do they want to receive more information? Sometimes we bombard new customers with information that maybe they don't even want in the first place. So that's really important too. Okay, so to recap everything, start with why, and then say less to more people, and then listen and be curious. So, Chris, I'm going to stop sharing. Where'd it go? There we go. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I expected you to go on and on. I was just...
I crammed all that into 30 minutes.
Don't stop now, Peggy. Great. Oh my gosh, you got a lot in, and wow. I'm just so excited. And I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did, because you just said a lot of things that will help our business, help each one of us be more successful in our businesses. So thank you so very much. We just really appreciate that. So I am going to stop the recording and unmute everybody. Hold on.